Hey guys, Miranda here.
Hi guys, I'm sorry to talk. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be in the background, ready for you guys to ask questions. So just type them on the screen as you're going, and I'll make a note of them and ask them at the end from Miranda, or if there's an appropriate space, I'll do that.
So apologies for that hideous introduction. Last time I was reaching out for a fly as my introduction, so apologies. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, guys. If you are joining me live, drop a 1 in the comments, and if you're joining me not live on the replay, then drop a 2 to say that you are here and that you are ready to slay the beast of procrastination. The reason I wanted this to be my first Facebook Live in the Mindset Warrior group is there's 3 reasons really. The first one is I have quite bad personal experience of procrastination, the kind of procrastination that will stop you in your tracks, can sometimes almost have like an anxiety energy to it because it'll stop you so kind of dead in your tracks. So I have that experience of procrastination, and so I have a great kind of personal experience and something that I can definitely share with you about how I overcome it and how I have pretty much slayed it. Definitely still have my moments, but it's something that has really turned itself around in my life in the last 18 months since I've been on my personal development journey, which I always go on about. The second reason is I think that this problem has such a massive impact. Like, let's say that you wanted to learn to do public speaking, or let's say that you wanted to, I don't know, get faster at running. Yeah, those things are great, but they will not have the impact, if you master them, that slaying procrastination will have. Because basically, slaying procrastination is the gateway to your dreams. Now, that sounds pretty dramatic, but it is, isn't it? If you think about what you're trying to go for in your life now, probably the first thing that is stopping you is procrastination. And the third reason I want to talk about procrastination is because, oh my God, I get so wound up by the narrative out there about procrastination. First of all, we're all so hard on ourselves about it. We all just think we're lazy asses and that we're just kind of, just dawdling and just not getting off the sofa and not kicking our asses in gear. And actually, to me, it's not about laziness at all. I'll come on to what I think it's actually about in a sec. But even more annoying is the books about procrastination. I've now read 5 books on procrastination, some of which I couldn't even finish because they were just so annoying. The most famous book about procrastination is a guy who wrote a book, it's called something like Don't Eat the Frog or Eat the Frog or something like that. In the prologue, he literally says, I'm not going to talk about psychology here. It's like, dude, as Tony Robbins, my phenomenal guru, says, business is 80% psychology. Success in business, 80% psychology and 20% strategy. You can't have strategies and go on about them unless we're actually going to implement them and have the desire to actually implement them. So all the kind of tips and tricks, the most recent book I read was Get Your Shit Together by Sarah Knight, who also wrote The Magical Power of Not Giving a Fuck or something like that. So it was quite an entertaining book. She's quite chatty, she's good, she's funny. But she's giving tips like, don't turn off your email notifications, and don't go home before you go to the gym, and prioritize. And it's like, yeah, that's great until you're sitting on your sofa on a Tuesday night watching Netflix and you're procrastinating going to bed. And you think to yourself, why am I procrastinating going to bed? Like, it's the most basic of tasks and I can't do it. Why? So I want to talk in this Facebook Live. It's going to be about half an hour, just in case you wanted to sort of plan your bedtime. About half an hour, I'm going to share some stories from my own personal experience, give some kind of a lot of knowledge I've gained in my personal development journey when I've been learning all about mindset. Was pretty much been my life for 18 months. I'm going to talk briefly about what is procrastination, because I think it comes in 2 flavors of procrastination. The second thing is I'm going to go deep with the why. I refuse to just give you shitty tips and tricks. This is about, I will give you core strategies, but they're going to be deep strategies. So make sure you watch out for them, and give me a shout out if you think that they are having an impact on you, or if they're resonating with you. Give me like one of those emoticons that goes whoop, like that, or whatever it might be, one of those that goes like that, because I want to know that actually you're hearing me and this is actually resonating with you, as opposed to just like, oh yeah, that seems like a good idea that you're never going to implement. And finally, and I will spend most of the time on this, it's about coming up with the strategies. How do we overcome this beast of procrastination? So the first thing I want to do is just get into, I think there are two types of procrastination. The first one is passive and the second one is active. So passive procrastination is pretty obvious. It's the sitting on the sofa, watching Netflix, scrolling through your Facebook for an hour and a half when you actually needed to clean up the room. We've all been there. It's the one that we're most likely to label ourselves as lazy. It can be hard. It can be quite sort of, it can feel quite hard to kind of not be able to peel yourself off the sofa, especially if you want to go to the gym and kind of get in shape or achieve one of those goals. But I actually think the second one is worse, and that's active procrastination. So give me a shout out, and Tim, let me know if if this is resonating with anyone. Give me a shout out if you do this. Oh my God, I am the queen of active procrastination. So I will literally do anything, or in the past particularly, do anything other than what is on my to-do list. So on a Sunday, I'll write a nice little to-do list, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, I really need to order my Tupperware collection. Actually, I don't do that, but it's those kinds of things. It's the anything but kinds of things that you will do to procrastinate. My favourite and most interesting, the one that always tickles me of procrastination, my favourite flavour is when, you're taking stuff out the dryer, and you need to kind of fold the clothes, iron the clothes, whatever, and then you think, oh, I'll just clean the filter in the dryer. That thing that gets all the dust on it. I want to...
We've got 3 people.
Yes, I love that shit. Hey guys, don't you just love a good filter clean? Now, to be fair, it does need to be done, but you don't need to do it every single day. And I get that shit right off. But I'm procrastinating. I know I'm procrastinating from doing the thing that I know I want to do. I want my house to be clean. I want my kids to have folded clothes, etc. So I'm procrastinating. So active versus passive. Okay, let's go deep. Let's talk about the why. So I feel really, really passionate about this because I don't think anyone is talking about this. Why do we procrastinate? One word and one kind of subword, which is basically the same thing. Fear. Procrastination is fear. I don't care how big or how small your task is, whether you are stopping yourself, or whether you are procrastinating getting going with your injecting because you did the course 6 months ago and you haven't actually started yet, or whether you are, procrastinating on folding the clothes. It's fear. So you think, right, okay, Miranda, this is a slightly odd concept. I've never thought about this before. You might have thought about it with regards to the big things, but not with regards to procrastinating going to bed. Why is it fear? It's fear of the next step. It's fear of going to the next stage, which is an uncertain stage. So let me explain that a bit more. So I always go on about lizard brain. This is concept from Seth Godin. You could call it the Caveman Brain. It might be a little bit easier to understand. Basically, our brains are still running from old software. We have evolved from our caveman times in terms of, so now we, have plentiful food, and we have, we all have a house, roof over our heads. Hopefully all of us have a roof over our heads. So we are quite advanced in the practices that we do and the way we run our lives. And yet our brain, the amygdala of our brain, which is our most base part of our brain, it's the reptilian part of our brain, it's the one whose job it is to keep us surviving, but not thriving. So this part of our brain is designed to keep us in the cave. So when you were a caveman, however many thousands of years ago you were a caveman, if you had some food stashed away for tomorrow, there would be no need for you to go out of the cave and start hunting again. That would just be weird. You've got to take the path of least resistance. You've got to do the thing that's going to conserve your energy. So when you do need to go out and hunt again, then you'll be ready. So if you've already got food, if you've already got a roof over your head, your children are safe, why would you take the next step? Why would you risk injecting? Why would you risk injecting someone's face and then all your fears come in? You mess up their face, they might be cross with you, you might have an awkward moment when you sell them something, you might, have to market your business when you feel weird about that. So all of these things are actually stepping out of the cave, and your lizard brain will do anything to stop you doing that. You're running off old software. It's the same reason we all want to eat donuts. We want to eat donuts because we haven't evolved from the time when we were in famine a lot of the time. So anytime your brain sees any kind of salt, sugar, fat, it's like, yeah, get me a piece of that because I need to get that energy for when there might be a famine again, even though there ain't any famines anymore in the first world. So that's what's going on, and that's why I believe that procrastination is fear. So let me give you this beautiful example from Tim. I haven't actually asked you if I can use this example, but I'm sure I'll be fine. So it's not from you, it's from your cousin.
Okay.
So Tim has a cousin called Philip, who is one of my favourite people in Tim's family, and he has learning difficulties. And they haven't, there's no particular, he's never been diagnosed with a particular form of that, but from my layperson's understanding, some of his behaviours would map to my understanding of how autistic people behave. So he is very particular about the way things are done, and if you say that you're going to do something in a particular way, he expects that to be the case, understandably. So we had, once a year, we have what Tim's family calls the Cuz Union, when all the cousins get together and they come and have a big party, and they all came, a couple of years ago, they all came to our house, and I casually said on the morning when they were all departing on the Sunday morning, yeah, let's have a nice brunch. I'll do some smoked salmon, you know, I'll get some eggs going and we'll have a great brunch. And I said to Philip, be about 11, something like that. Or I think I probably said 11. So anyway, Philip got that right locked in his brain. He was like, right, we're having brunch at 11 o'clock. I procrastinated in the morning. Well, that's not the point of the story, but I procrastinated and didn't do the lunch at 11, didn't deliver it at 11. And Philip started to get really agitated. He really started to kind of act out, you know, as it seemed to other people. And remember, this guy's a massive love. Like, you never hear a peep from him. He's such a sweetheart. Really started to get angry. He was having fights with his sister, Natalie, who kind of looks after him. And he was getting really, really anxious because lunch hadn't arrived at the right time. So anyway, we got over the whole lunch thing. It was okay. And then Tim's brother, Emlyn, took Philip upstairs, and they went, and he kind of was getting himself gathered ready to go for his train. And Philip started brushing his teeth. And Emlyn said to us afterwards, I don't think he said anything to Philip, but he said to us afterwards, Philip was brushing his teeth for a very, very long time. It went on and on and on and on. And Emlyn thought, come on, dude, like, we need to, he was actually saying to him at this point, you know, we need to get the train. Philip, is there anything I can help you with? And he was thinking to himself, why is he brushing his teeth? And afterwards, Emlyn observed that the reason Philip was brushing his teeth was because it was safe to him. It was his cave. He knew that if he felt like his lizard brain was telling him that if he stopped brushing his teeth, he was going to have to face the fact that he might have missed his train. He might have been messing around, like he lost his glasses and he's lost his phone. He might have been doing that for too long, and he might have missed the train. And it was safer for him to stay brushing his teeth because that's what he knew. And I think we all do that in our life. We all stay in our safe space, even though we know that we're going to miss the train, and we know that it's not the right thing for us, and we know that it's not what we want. It's not our goal fulfilled. So I just wanted to share that example with you because I think about it regularly if I am brushing my teeth too long. So I want to tell you a little bit more about fear and procrastination. The biggest fear I think that we have with procrastination is fear of failure. Of course. So you think to yourself, well, I don't want to go out and start an Instagram account for my business. I don't want to do that because when I get there, I'm going to be shit. No one's going to like my posts. I don't know about these fucking hashtags. What's a hashtag? I don't know how many to use. What's the best one to use? Am I going to look weird because I've done all these hashtags and I looked at salesy and like grabbing and all these feelings? Is all fear. So it's better for you to think. So your lizard brain is like, dude, stay in the cave. What's the problemo? Just stay here watching Netflix. You've got food, your children are fed, you've got a roof over your house. So that's the reason you actually take the path of least resistance and don't set yourself up with an Instagram account. Another example of why you might procrastinate, another person from Tim's family never wants to open mail. So mail's come through the door and she doesn't want to open it because she's been burned in the past, I think when some debt letters came through or something. And the reason she procrastinates opening the mail is because she fears what she will find when she gets there. So taking the Instagram, there'll be debt letters or whatever. Taking the Instagram analogy as well. I've had this with Snapchat, so I don't do Snapchat. I rock in my Instagram and I love a bit of Facebook action, but I don't do Snapchat, and I'm probably procrastinating it. So what I think to myself is, oh my God, I'm going to get to Snapchat, I'm going to open it, I'm going to find that everyone else is beasting Snapchat, and I am just this big fat loser left behind. So it's fear of what you might find when you get there, fear of failure.
We've got 3 people resonating with Instagram.
Yeah.
issue.
So fear of failure, fear of getting left behind. So the other big sort of, so I think fear, and the second one that I mentioned before is still fear, but I'm going to give it another name, which is uncertainty. So procrastination is also massively about uncertainty. So and I'll use the Instagram account analogy again. So let's say that you do not do Instagram, and I've had a couple of conversations with skin injectors about this recently. So let's say that you don't do Instagram, you might do it, let's say you don't do it at all. Okay, so you don't do Instagram. You haven't got an effing clue what to do with Instagram. Miranda told you need to get on Instagram, but I don't have a clue. I don't do Instagram. I'm pretty shit at Facebook, to be honest. You know, I've only just had an email account 3 years ago. Don't get me doing Instagram. Then you have all these other limiting beliefs around Instagram. So you're like, oh God, my kids do Instagram. Jeez, like I'm going to get there and I'm going to have to do selfies and I feel a little bit ugly and oh my God, like, I don't understand it. I mean, they say that it's easy to open an account, but when I get there, I'm going to have to do this and I'm going to have to do that and I'm going to have to do it every day. And oh my God, like I don't even know what to do. And I don't think I'll be able to follow through on that again because I'm so busy. So you've got all these stages, all these things that you're telling yourself, all this uncertainty around whether you will be able to succeed at Instagram. So do you know what you do? You procrastinate. You think, okay, I'll just write that on my to-do list, yeah. Just below paint the fence and just below, clear out the top shelf of the brew cupboard. You know, it's like those things are never going to get done, dude. If you put it on the bottom of your list, you may as well just take it off your list and be honest with yourself. I mean, I'm not advocating that, but you know what I mean? It's like you've got to admit that you don't want it. I always remember this really amazing quote from Kate Moss. I don't know whether anyone heard this before. She says, with regards to weight loss and everything, she said, "Nothing tastes as good as skinny feels." And what I loved about that quote was when I heard it, I thought, oh my God, I'm going to store that away in my kind of bank for when I'm reaching for a donut so that I don't do it. Because that's so true, K-Mars. You're rocking it with your analogies. Like, I'm just going to totally think about that next time I reach for a donut. Come to get the donut. And actually, I don't really, unlike Kate Moss, I don't really know what skinny feels like. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I'm fat, but like, she fucking knows what skinny feels like. That woman has got a whole career off skinny. She gets certainty from the money she gets from skinny. She gets variety from travelling the world from skinny. All of her human needs are met. She gets love and connection because all her friends are from her being skinny and having that job. She gets significance because she's Kate Moss. All of her human needs are met from being skinny. So she fucking knows what that feels like. But actually, I don't massively know what it feels like, so I'm just going to have the donut, thank you very much. That's the thing. When we are procrastinating, we are more likely to think about the things, all of the things and all of the fears and all of the steps we're going to have to do. It's going to be so tricky to implement and do. And actually, what we don't do, and now I'm coming on to what we need to do in order to overcome our procrastination. What we don't do is we don't spend time with our why. Da, da, da. I got spelled that right. Spend time with your why. So, Kate Moss, she knows what her why is with regards to getting skinny. You know, I have worked really hard on my why with regards to what I'm doing here in the mindset group, what I do with Skin Viva. So you're thinking, what is this why? Okay. So if we accept that procrastination is fear, procrastination is uncertainty, we know why now we are stopping ourselves moving. We ain't lazy, we are just fearful of the next step, what might happen when we get there. So how do we overcome that? And I believe super strongly that the only way to overcome procrastination sustainably, so you can have your little tips and crappy tricks, but that ain't gonna last for more than a week. Whereas actually, if you dig deep and get deeper than the fear, deeper by exploring why you wanted to do this in the first place. Why? Why are you in aesthetics? Why do you want a successful aesthetics business? So let's explore that a bit more. So the why, spend time with your why, is actually a second question. It's question number 2. Question number 1 is, what is your goal? So goals are actually sort of fairly easy to come up with. So let's say that you had a goal. In fact, Gemma put on a great goal on the mindset group the other day. She said, I can't remember the metrics, but she said that she had a goal that she would be able to have. I think it was something like 15 paying clients a month. Brilliant goal, very, it's a real smart goal that, it's quantifiable, all the smart things. And it's really kind of, it's nice, it's very clear in my mind what that goal is. So let's work with that one. So let's say that you are working towards getting 15 paying clients a month in aesthetics. And Tim and I sure as hell did not have 15 when we first started. When Tim first started injecting exactly 10 years ago in a month, I can't remember when I came on board. But anyway, the first month that I came on board full-time with Tim, because I'd just been made redundant, we made £300 that month, which was one, 3-area Botox treatment. So it just shows you that 15 paying clients a month is a great goal to have. So that's our goal. We've got 15 clients a month. Let's say that our goal, let's move another one. Let's say that our goal is to get 100 Instagram followers, or I don't know if that's a particularly good goal, because you want proper good followers. You don't want bloody, Jordan from America who was like aesthetics because he's a bodybuilder. Long story, but you don't want Jordan. You want the lady from down the road who might come and buy from you. So let's say that your goal is to get 100 Instagram followers, for example, by 3 months' time. So that's your clear goal. Now you have to assess why you want that goal, and this is where we're going to go deep. You have to do this.
Just because they're discussing hashtags at the moment.
All right.
If you make the goal, how does Instagram work? Because a lot of people think they're procrastinating around how to figure that out.
Hashtags.
Yeah, because everyone's discussing hashtags. So the goal is, how does Instagram work? Then how would you use that as your example? So it might be.
Should be like cracking the code of what makes Instagram work.
Yeah, people are saying, I don't know how hashtag works. Hashtags work. I don't know how Instagram works effectively. But why haven't? I think there's possibly an element of procrastinating in order to find out. So you could use that as your example, and it'll help them specifically with an issue. So to understand hashtags.
Yeah,
your goal is to understand hashtags.
To understand hashtags and to test them and kind of see what works. Okay, super. So let's pick our new goal as let's say that by the end of March, we will have posted on Instagram every day, and we will have a better understanding of hashtags. I can do a Facebook Live for you on hashtags if you like as well, but I only learned by doing. So your goal is, by the end of the month, you're going to have a better understanding of hashtags, and you're going to feel confident in using them and not feel weird about using hashtags. So that's your goal. Love it. Okay, why do you want that goal? Because I tell you, sister, when you get off this Facebook Live and tomorrow morning you've said that you're going to do it, let's say you're going to do 1 Instagram post a day, you'll go through all the same feelings again that has made you procrastinate before. Oh God, hashtags are weird. Oh God, how do I do them? Oh God, do I copy and paste? So when you start procrastinating and you start feeling those feelings bubbling up, you need to go spend time with your why, which you need to establish tonight. So, having watched this Facebook Live, you're going to go straight to a piece of paper. You're going to write down your goal, just one small goal that will be for the end of the month, for the end of March or whatever. And then you will write down your why. And your why, you might say, well, how am I going to get that? It's actually quite simple. But it's got to be very deep. Why do you want to do well in aesthetics? And happily, Tim has just done 2 podcast coaching sessions with Leanne and Chelsea recently. And they both had a beautiful why, because he asked them. Their why was to show to their children that they are strong, that they are successful, so that their children can be as well, and have a beautiful model of what it is to be in the world of work as a woman, and they want to pass that on to their children. A beautiful why, the kind of why that's going to make you get off that sofa and fucking work out those hashtags. In fact, you can stay on the sofa and work hashtags out, so it's even better. Don't watch Netflix though. So you've got to get down. Got to keep asking yourself, yeah, but why? Yeah, but why? Do 5 whys if it doesn't feel deep enough and it doesn't make you want to move. Okay, so you might say, so let me give you an example. So let's say we're going to go with the hashtag example. You say, So I'm just going to do it for myself, okay? Because I've been through this with hashtags. So I want to learn Instagram. I want to learn how to do hashtags because I just want to know, because I want to crack this, because I want to have a successful Instagram account. Okay, Miranda, why do you want to have a successful Instagram account? Okay, Miranda, I want to have a successful Instagram account because I want to have an audience. Okay, Miranda, well, why do you want to have an audience? I want to have an audience because I want to speak my truth. Okay, Miranda, why do you want to speak your truth? That's a bit odd. Why are you doing that? I want to speak my truth. Okay, well, I hadn't realised this yet, but okay, well, now you mention it, I want to speak my truth because I've really learned a lot these last 18 months, and I want other people to hear me because I feel like I've got something good to say, and also because I think that they can get some real benefit from it. Okay, Miranda, well, tell me a bit more about that. So I'm having a bit of a slightly odd conversation with myself. Okay, well, to be honest, Miranda, I feel there's a real river of pain running through aesthetics at the moment. This industry, I believe, is the perfect storm, to be honest. It's the perfect storm of people who have actually have done a course and have done that because they have their own desires, they want to make their life successful, they want to do things for whatever reason, and they've done this day course, and happily they've done it with Skin Movie Training, so great, and they've had a really good course, but now they're fairly vulnerable. They actually are out in the world, they are entrepreneurs, which they didn't even kind of realise they were, they have to do business, which they have largely not, I'm talking about myself 10 years ago, which they have largely not done in the past. They have now got to do all these kind of really fucking scary things, like inject people's faces and worry about the consequences. They now increasingly have mega amounts of competition, which I acknowledge, we have created in Skin Movie Training to some extent, through all these people that come through. They have all this competition. Now feels like there's a race to the bottom, with the prices. All these beauty therapists are coming, rushing in, and doing it as well, and people's lips are falling off because of it. So do you, in this moment, I think you probably feel like I do, which is like, oh God, river of pain. But when I think about that, I get really passionate because I was there 10 years ago and I've done it. We have an almost £2 million business now. We have 30 plus staff. I wake up every morning feeling enthused and passionate. I want to make a difference in the world. I want to help people. I want to help other people. I want them to see that it doesn't have to be this way. It doesn't have to be fearful. They can live their best lives. This is how I feel because I've done it myself. And I've done the business and then I've done this personal development. And that's my passion, that's my why. And it makes me want to move when I'm thinking about procrastinating. So that's my why. Oh my God, I can't remember what I was talking about. Oh, hashtags, yes. I got a bit mad there. So when I'm thinking about hashtags, I'm thinking, yeah. So I've gone down. And it's funny actually because when I was going down, you have various emotions. You go to the pleasure, you go to the pain. You think about your children. I know Sarah, I don't know whether you're watching Sarah, but Sarah Murphy has been quite open in the past about worrying that she won't have, if she doesn't, she jumped off the cliff and she's now full-time in aesthetics, and she worries that if she kind of messes up someone's face, then her whole business will go under, and then her children will be eating baked beans, which is like, again, it's all about someone else, isn't it, in that scenario. It's fascinating that we women often do things, our why is often for other people, but anyway, it's fine if it's about yourself as well. But I can't remember what I was saying. So Sarah's why is about that, and so if she was to ask herself why, no doubt that's quite an emotional experience finding your why. But once you found it, girl, that and boys, that will make you move when you are procrastinating. So tonight, do not move until you have written down your outcome, which is something simple like discover hashtags, work out hashtags, and then write down your why. And then while you were doing this, I don't know whether anyone's read The Secret. I wasn't a massive fan, to be honest, but I haven't actually finished it, to be fair. But I know there's quite a lot of juicy bits of learning from the Secret. There's stuff around creating mood boards, there's stuff around really getting in state, and by state I mean, listen to some music, get some pictures from magazines about your why, get your vision, which is your goal. You could do that with a mood board as well. And then, but you have to, and this is more of a Tony Robbins thing, you have to write down, and do it in pictures or whatever, your why. And while you're doing that, definitely try and make it as emotionally as possible. Step into your outcome. So for example, my why is that I want to end the river of pain in aesthetics by by speaking my truth so that other people can find their own truth, and so that they will find their why, and then they will live their best lives and have their best businesses in aesthetics. So that's my little why. But when I think about it, I listen to a piece of music which is by Gabriella Aplin, and it's called Light Up the Dark in You. So it sounds a bit cheesy, but I absolutely love that song. And I tell you, like, it's a relatively recent song, but I've used it so many times, and I put it on and I go out into my garden and I go mad and dance wildly, and I get into state about my why. And then when I'm feeling that, I go straight back in and I carry on working, just because I work at night. I'm not advocating you work at night, but the point is, whenever you're feeling those doldrum moments when you're thinking, oh God, I want to peel off the dust from the dryer instead of actually folding the clothes, think about your why. Why are you doing it? So folding the clothes, Tim, how many minutes are we on, by the way?
I don't know. There's no time on it.
What about your phone? Oh, forget it, it's fine. I won't go on for too much longer. So when you are thinking about folding your clothes and you don't want to do it, just think to yourself, you could think about the children and making their life better and stuff, but actually I think that if I want to fold the clothes because I want my brain to be decluttered so that I can get on with the real stuff. I want to feel like, yes, I'm a good mum. Yeah, well done me. I'm a good mum. I folded my clothes. They're ready for tomorrow in their little pile. Now I can get on with, changing the world or whatever it might be. So declutter your mind. There are big whys, there are small whys, but all of them are juicy. The other thing to say about whys is, and my coach said this to me, Maria, a while back, she said you can have, what the best kind of why is, you have 3 good ones and 1 bad one, and you can have more bad ones as well. So your bad ones will be, for example, so let's say you want to lose weight for your holiday. So let's say that you think to yourself, you get yourself in state, you listen to an amazing piece of music when you have been rocking it in a nightclub, for example, and you've really been able to, like in the past, maybe when you were a bit more toned and you kind of want to go back to that place. Get yourself in state, maybe kind of cut out some pictures, make a mood board, whatever. But while you're thinking about your why, you have to also, not always, but you can think about some bad times and take yourself there. So you can think about the time when you felt flabby and you just felt that bit like, when you kind of, when you just don't feel yourself, when you don't feel like it's your true you. I know that when I had my 10 syringes recently, I felt more of me. I felt back to the me that I feel inside. And so if you it's good actually, for example, with weight loss or whatever, to actually say, well, I don't want to go back there. I don't want to go back to that place where I, procrastinate like a motherfucker. I want to be efficient. I want to feel powerful, feel that I could impact my world. Balls to you, lizard brain. I don't care about whether or not, you think I'm safe or not. I'm surviving, yes, but I'm not thriving. I want to thrive. So you got to think about the negatives and the positives, and both will make you move. Now, I want to say one last thing really about the depths of procrastination. So when you are in that place, and like I said, it has quite an anxious energy to it, when you cannot move, like you are literally suckered to that sofa and you're scrolling through Facebook and you're kind of hunched over and you feel like crap because you're like, oh my God, I'm worthless, what am I doing, I'm on Facebook again, and I wanted to clear up this mess. When you've had the kids all day in on a Saturday and the house is completely destroyed, and it's all the different types of destroyed, it's like all the toys are out, they're all in the wrong place, you've got like splats of food on the kitchen counter, whatever, and you just cannot move. And here's a little tip for overcoming procrastination in that state, which is when it's kind of so far gone that you just can't move, which is, say to yourself in a mantra, don't think, just do. Don't think, just do. Don't think, just do. And I have put this on my Instagram post, and I know Dr. Sharon, I don't know whether you're watching Dr. Sharon, but she said that she'd used that and it had really worked for her when I think she was procrastinating putting the Christmas decorations away. Oh, we've all been there. And I think it could really, really help if you're in that darkest place. Just don't think, just do. Don't think, just do. Don't think, just do. And there's something about that physiology which kind of makes you stand up and just kind of almost just do as your don't think, just do brain told you to do. So, or your voice told you. So that's just a little tip to help you at the end. But the most important part of my whole talk, and I want you guys to inbox me tomorrow and let me know that you've done this, is I want you to get clear on your goal for small goal, big goal, whatever. And then I want you to explain your why. I've just realised I've completely forgotten to miss out a whole section around uncertainty. I'll just say one more thing, which is quite a nice practical thing to end on. So if your form of procrastination is that you get overwhelmed because you feel like you don't understand the task, the size of the task, and someone put a beautiful thing on earlier on the mindset group, an image from Scousmar, and she had explained, it said something like, I can't remember what it was, but it's basically saying that when you think about your dream, then you think about your goal, then you think about a plan, and then you put the plan into action, it doesn't seem as big and as, mega and unachievable. So the whole thing around chunking and breaking things up, this is particularly resonates with Tim. The way I do that, and I do this as a practice every single week, is on a Sunday night. This has totally changed my life, so by all means take this little tip and trick. On a Sunday night, I think about I basically clear down my emails first of all, so clear them all down. So if you hit email me, you'll probably get a response on a Sunday night. Then I think about all my outcomes that I want for the week, so my goals for the week. Then I think about my whys, and then I prioritise them according to which is the biggest why and which is the one that makes me move the most and will get me the most juice. And then I just do a really simple thing. I don't know whether I've got it here. Oh, it might be in my book. I can't find it. It's super simple. All I do is I get an A4 sheet of paper, I section it up into 10 sections, which is basically just, so it's like this. So it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And this is AM and this is PM. Then I put in my meetings. So for example, recently I've been looking after Tim, doing his clinical assistant on a Thursday, so that's gone, so I can't do anything on that day. And then I have like board meeting on a Tuesday and like operations meeting on a Wednesday. And what I do then is I get post-it notes, and I literally, with my outcomes on them, which is obviously juiced up by my whys, but my whys are in my head, and I put them in post-it notes, and I'm quite conservative, and I only really say that I'm going to achieve, say 2 things, 1 for each section of the day. And then what I do is, in my morning walk, which I would just, maybe I'll do a whole other Facebook Live about routines and how the power of routines. If you don't already do something like meditation in the morning or whatever it might be, gratitude journal, etc., you need to get involved because it's phenomenal. But what my version of it is, I walk around the garden. Takes me about 7 minutes, something like that. I say, Miranda, I'm proud of you for, this is a Lisa Nichols technique, where I then honour myself for what I did yesterday that I was proud of. I say, Miranda, I forgive you for, and I acknowledge some of my failures, but I don't, because I'm forgiving myself, so it has that lovely energy to it. And Miranda, I commit to you too. And then I, for whatever day it is, so let's say I've got one post-it note here which says, whatever, like a task, like prepare for procrastination talk. I get that post-it note and I get it in my head before I go on my walk, and I say, Miranda, I commit to you too. And then I read out my outcome for it, and I kind of juice up my outcome. So I'll say, I'm going to today to prepare for my procrastination talk. My talk is going to be clear, concise, it's going to be well structured, it's going to be entertaining, engaging, and that's the outcome. And then I say my why, and the reason I want to do it is because, and then it's back to my amazing why that I'm so passionate about. I want to stem the river of pain in aesthetics, and I want to help people to live their best lives and to feel free of the burden of horrible things like procrastination, anxiety, or lack of confidence. So I want you guys to jump off the cliff of procrastination. Do it because you know deep down that you want it, you actually want it, and that's why you want it. Spend time with your why and you will move. Right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I'm sorry I've not been able to interact with you as much as...
Well, we can take any questions now.
Oh, yeah.
If anyone would like to ask any questions. But we did have saying, can she cut out her lizard brain, please?
Your lizard brain actually does serve you to some extent. It's a thing that will make you protect your children if you have kids, or will make you swerve the car if someone else swerves into you. So we have to honour the lizard brain a bit, because it does help us in moments of real danger. But you can honour it as long as you promise me that you will basically be a bit like, to it. I'm quite disdainful towards my lizard brain. I literally have a thing where I'll talk about personas another time, because personas are very useful, but I have a persona. My amazing persona is my queen, and one of my bad personas is my 2-year-old. I also have petulant teenager. It's a whole thing. It's amazing. But if my lizard brain is going over the top and I'm feeling fearful, usually about loss of love, that's my big fear. If I'm feeling fearful, my queen says to my 2-year-old, "I hear you, but we'll handle it." And that's a little technique where you can actually cut out that lizard brain. Cut it out. Any other questions?
So just can you say a bit more about the difference between kind of reasonable fears and unreasonable fears? Like, how do you tell the difference between a fear that's telling you something you need to know that to avoid, and how do you tell which ones are just holding you back for no good reason?
I think you have to do an analysis on the why. So, for example, some of them are obvious. So if you are literally, like, you once had a woman turn up at your GP surgery with a floppy baby, and she wasn't, like, I don't know if she was just thick or what, but she didn't realise that her baby was in severe danger. She was in the GP surgery instead of in A&E. So she wasn't listening to lizard brain or whatever. Maybe she just didn't have much of a brain, I don't know. So you do have to listen to your lizard brain sometimes, but I think it's when you, in fact, here's a good answer. So I'm obsessed with Brene Brown. She's an amazing kind of heroine in America who does lots of books and talks and whatever. She's Bezies with Oprah. And she talks about, for example, if you're feeling angry, so angry is quite a lizard brain response. She says it's okay to be angry, but only temporarily. And then you have to move on, and pretty much only in a padded room. Like, if you're angry and that's a lizard brain response, like, don't send any emails, don't talk to your husband, like, just be in a padded room by yourself, deal with your anger, and then after you've dealt with it, and after you've kind of had your moment, you've got to then don't sit with it, don't stay with it, because then you become an angry person. Or it's the same with anxiety. If you're feeling anxious because you've got an exam, yeah, like, it's normal. I felt nervous before this talk. That's fine, but if it had stopped me, like, let's say I just put a post up on the mindset group saying, guys, I can't do it. That would have been the point where my lizard brain, when I stopped thriving, when it was stopping me thriving. It's sometimes hard to be objective about it. I don't know whether you've got any sort of things you want to add to that.
For me, it's just the key thing is your brain just wants to keep you safe. It doesn't want to make you thrive. So you've got to ask yourself, is not taking action stopping me from thriving? Or is it really a genuine danger? Because it feels like a danger that you might post something on your Instagram that no one likes, and then they're all going to judge you and remember forever that one really dull post that you made. And of course that's nonsense. They forget in a minute. And
it doesn't feel like nonsense though, does it? In the moment, it feels like you're going to die because you're going to get ostracised by the group, and you end up in the fetal position.
It feels like that awful Instagram post is in everyone's face. Everyone's looking at it and scrolling past, going, "Oh, what's Dr. Tim on about now?" So you feel bad about it, but the reality is, if you keep going, you'll get better and better. Yeah,
I think if you are feeling those feelings and they're kind of getting those lizard brain feelings and you're in a lizard brain loop, a really good thing is to call on gratitude. Because if you can put your hand on your heart and breathe through your heart and focus on your breathing and listening to an amazing piece of music that reminds you of a time when you were grateful, maybe you were on holiday, maybe you were with your kids, whatever. If you can do that, then often that will get you out of that loop, and then you can make a decision. Am I going to die because no one likes my Instagram? And one more thing about Instagram. Don't let your lizard brain dictate you, because I got put in a shadow ban. I actually got banned. It's a long story. I kind of got banned from Instagram. I got put way down the algorithm because I was doing lizard brain things of deleting my posts because no one liked them. So don't do that, because you actually screw yourself more by listening to your lizard brain. So just do it, own it. If it's shit, don't worry, learn the lesson and move on.
If anyone saw the spelling mistake on one of my videos, that's why it was there for so long.
Because you just moved on?
No, because I couldn't delete it because of going to the shadow ban.
Oh yeah, because of my fucking shadow ban, yeah. I had to do a whole blog post on shadow bans.
So we got lots of nice comments. Thank you all very much for watching.
Thanks so much for watching, guys. And what I'll do as well is I'm going to put a poll up. I'm going to offer you guys some topics for my next. I'm going to do a Facebook Live every week into the Mindset group. So I'll put a poll up about what you guys might want to watch next.
And can I suggest, if you guys are open to it, if you could write your why and share it on the group.
Oh yeah.
I will do mine, and it'll be nice to share them all. And you'll see that when you dig deep enough, they're nearly always beautiful.
Yes.
And that's a really good thing to be in touch with.
I don't think Donald Trump's why is beautiful.
Well, his why is so that my dad will love me, but his dad, yeah.
Sad. Yeah.
Sad.
Right, good night, guys. Love you, and thanks so much for watching.